Welcome to LMC, Little Mercury Club.
Far beyond the snowy mountains, hidden beneath endless winter, there stood a tiny forgotten village. The nights there were long. The winds were cold. And happiness had slowly faded from people's hearts. In the smallest house at the edge of the village lived a little girl named Elina. Her home was old. The roof was cracked. Cold snow slipped through the wooden ceiling every night. But inside that tiny house, a small golden candle still glowed warmly. Because Elina never allowed kindness to disappear from her heart. Every night before sleeping, she would sit beside her frosted window and gaze silently at the silver moon above the mountains. Sometimes she whispered softly, "Will winter ever end?" The moon never answered. But somehow, it always seemed to listen. One stormy night, the wind screamed through the forest louder than ever before. Snow danced wildly across the village. The old windows rattled. The candlelight trembled. Then suddenly, a faint sound came from outside. A tiny cry. Soft, weak, almost lost inside the storm. Elina quickly opened the door. Cold wind rushed into the house like icy waves. And there, half buried beneath the snow, lay a glowing silver bird. Its feathers shimmered like moonlight on frozen water. One delicate wing was injured. The tiny creature trembled helplessly. Elina slowly knelt beside it. "Oh, you poor little thing." Without hesitation, she wrapped the bird carefully inside her old wool scarf and carried it inside. The bird looked at her quietly. Its silver eyes sparkled gently in the darkness, as though it had been searching for her. That night, Elina shared her last piece of bread, though her own stomach remained hungry. The little bird ate slowly from her hands. And for the first time in many months, Elina smiled. The next morning, the villagers gathered outside her house. Fear spread quickly. "That creature is cursed. Throw it away before disaster comes." But Elina held the tiny bird close to her chest. "No," she said softly. "It's frightened, just like us." Days passed. The storms grew colder. But inside Elina's tiny house, something magical slowly began to grow. Every night, the bird's silver glow became brighter. Tiny dancing lights floated through the room like stars. The cold air became warmer. Even the dying flowers near the window slowly began to bloom again. And yet, far above the mountains, dark clouds were gathering. One terrible night, the greatest storm the village had ever seen arrived. The sky turned black. The rivers froze solid. The furious wind swallowed the lantern lights one by one. Children cried. Parents prayed. The entire village disappeared beneath snow and darkness. Inside her house, Elina held the frightened bird close. "I don't want the light to disappear," she whispered tearfully. Suddenly, the little bird opened its glowing wings. A wave of silver light burst across the room. The candle flames danced wildly. The walls shimmered. The tiny bird slowly rose into the air. Its feathers grew brighter, larger, more beautiful than the stars themselves. Elina watched in awe. The injured creature she had saved was no ordinary bird. It was the legendary moonbird, guardian of lost light. With a magnificent cry, the moonbird soared into the stormy sky. Silver light exploded across the heavens. The dark clouds trembled. The furious winds faded. And slowly, warm moonlight poured across the frozen village. The rivers sparkled once more. Snow melted from the rooftops. The sleeping trees awakened beneath glowing silver light. For the first time in many years, the village felt hope again. The villagers stood silently beneath the shining sky. None of them spoke. Because some moments are too beautiful for words. The moonbird gently returned to Elina one final time. It touched her forehead softly with its glowing beak, as though thanking her. Then, beneath the silver moon, it rose higher and higher into the night sky, until it disappeared among the stars. And from that night onward, whenever moonlight covered the snowy village, people remembered the little girl who chose kindness instead of fear. Because even the smallest act of kindness can bring light back to the coldest world.